welcome to today's video. So if you are new here, my name is Amy and I'm a mum of 3 and I live in the UK in Wales. So I have a 6-month-old and I also have a 12-year-old and a 16-year-old. So today's video I just wanted to go through the bare minimal, budget-friendly basics that you will need when you first have your baby. So this video isn't a must-haves or things to make your life easier. It is just everything that you need if you're on a very tight budget, or if you don't want to buy things unless you really need them until your baby is born, because obviously all babies are different and sometimes they like certain things, like certain swings or certain toys and things. So that's what this video is going to be, and we're just going to get straight into things. So the first thing you're going to need is somewhere for your baby to sleep. So if you're going to have the baby in the room with you, which is recommended that you do until your baby is 6 months old, and you also have a separate nursery, then what I would do if you are on a budget is just put the cot, the full size cot, because everybody needs a cot, you're going to need one eventually. I would just put that straight into your bedroom because eventually they're going to sleep in it anyway. So that's going to save you some money. But if you can't fit the cot by your bed and you do need something to fit by the side of your bed, then what I would recommend is actually getting a pram or travel system with a carry cot that is suitable that is suitable for overnight sleeping. Now you can check this with the manufacturer on their website. So for example, I have the Nuna Mix and that carry cot is suitable for overnight sleeping. So if you check the manufacturer's instructions, you'll be able to save yourself some money. And if you are able to use a carry cot for overnight sleeping, then you won't need something like a Moses basket or a next to me crib, which are basically all the same thing. They're only going to last your baby for about 4 months. They say 6, but it's really like 4, because by the time they get to that age, they're going to start rolling and moving around a lot more, and you're going to have a lot more peace of mind knowing that your baby is in a cot that can be, that the level can be really far down towards the bottom, which is where it's the safest for them when they get to around the age and they start rolling around. So I wouldn't recommend buying like a next to me cot. Obviously they are lovely, but you don't need it. So don't feel like you have to go out and spend like £150–200 on a little crib that you will literally use for about 4 months. So there's no need to buy something like that. You can just use the carry cot of your pram. Obviously not every single one is usable, so you need to check this, but most modern prams and travel systems now, you can use them for overnight sleeping, but obviously make sure you check that on the manufacturer's website. But mine personally can be used. So for this little one, we were actually given a swinging like baby crib. I will insert a picture for you guys, but it's basically like a small cot. And the only reason I used it is because I was given it for free, which I highly recommend that you do. If you can go on Facebook Marketplace, these big bulky baby items, if people know they're not going to have any more children, they just want them out of their house. So I recommend going on Facebook Marketplace, having things given to you. There's nothing wrong with second-hand. Babies have absolutely no idea, and you can always clean it and buy a new mattress and wash the covers. It's not the end of the world. So please don't feel like you have to buy everything brand new, because there's absolutely no need. My first daughter, obviously I've had 3 children, but my first daughter, we bought so much stuff and half of it she didn't even use. So I think now, by my third, I know what you need before your baby actually arrives. And not only that, babies like all different types of things, and you're much better off if you have friends and family who have children around the same ages as you, borrowing their things and seeing if your baby actually likes to be in it. Because you don't want to go out and spend like £100 on a baby swing, even if it is the nicest one and you love it and it goes with your living room, if your baby hates being in it. So the first thing I would recommend is just putting your baby straight into the cot, if that's a possibility for you. If not, you can get some really affordable things. There's no need to buy like the one with all the bells and whistles, because they're in it for such a short amount of time. You're not going to get your money's worth. But of course it's your money, so you do what you want. Now as for like your baby, because obviously when they're little, before they reach the age of 6 months, they're going to be with you all the time. You're not going to be leaving them anyway. So when they're napping, they're either going to be napping on you, or they're going to be napping in the room with you. So you could either, now This may be something that not everybody is comfortable with, but you can literally lay your baby down on the floor. Now, obviously, if you have toddlers running around or pets, you may not be comfortable doing this, but you can literally, the safest place for the little one is actually on the floor, because then, especially when they start rolling, because then they can't actually fall off anything, you know? So don't feel like you have to have like them at your level constantly. I know it's very like the only thing to do now, but they are actually safer on the floor. So what you can do is you can just put like a blanket on the floor and lay them down. That is an option. But if you wanted to, what I would recommend, if you do want to have something in your living room or in the main room you spend time in your kitchen, I would get something that is multiple use. So for example, have a swing if you want to get a swing, or get a second-hand swing. There can be a swing and a bouncer. So then you don't have to buy both things, if you understand what I'm saying. But again, you don't need to get this before your baby is born, because when they're first born, they don't go in things like that for the first like month or so. I would say you constantly cuddle them. You do. So they can literally, if you get a pram, if your pram has a carry cot option, or if your pram's actual seat unit is suitable from birth, you can just lay that flat and lay your baby in that, and they can sleep in that, and you can just wheel that into the room with you. You don't need all these separate things that are going to cost you money. I would wait until your baby's born to buy something like that. You may even, if it is your first, you're probably going to get something like that bought for you, to be honest, or offered to you to test out. But I highly recommend Facebook Marketplace. If there is something that you really want, obviously it's a very exciting time. You know, it's your first little one. I completely understand that. And yes, we all do buy it because it's really cute and we like how it looks. That's completely fine. But go on Facebook Marketplace, you can get it for less than half the price. I highly recommend doing that. So now that you've got somewhere for your baby to sleep, obviously you will need a mattress protector and some sheets, which are very affordable in supermarkets and on places like Amazon. I will link a couple of options. But then you're also going to need baby clothes. Now I would say for the first probably 3-4 months, they're just going to be in baby clothes, guys. Get things that are easy to dress them in, and if you want to go poppers or zips, that's completely your choice. Don't feel like you have to buy like expensive like magnet baby clothes. Don't waste your money, they're literally going to be in them a month. But yeah, now this kind of depends on if your baby has reflux or not. But if your baby isn't a reflux baby, and by that, reflux is just where they like throw up a lot, like more than what is considered usual for a newborn or a baby. So my daughter, she does have reflux, but my older two didn't have it. And the reason I bring this up is because this way depend on how much clothing you're actually going to need. So if you you can wait until the baby is born for this. But as a general rule, I would just buy about 10 of everything, because you're going to be doing your weekly wash anyway. So as a rule, just buy 10 of everything. So buy like 10 vests, 10 baby clothes. Obviously you're going to need something like a jacket to keep the baby warm. And I will link down a few options down below of little charts that you can download and have a look at online that tell you how to dress your baby in seasons, which will be really handy and helpful. More I will say, you know, you're going to want to know your baby much more than a chart, and you will know what to put them in based on that day when you look out the window and you check the weather and your child. So don't panic about things like that. But yeah, if you want to feel prepared and make sure you've got everything, don't feel like you have to buy like hundreds and hundreds of different things and all these different gadgets. Like, yes, watch other people's video, but take it with a pinch of salt, including this one, because you know you're your best judge. What I would say is get about 12 baby clothes, 10 to 12 baby clothes, 10 to 12 vests. And then if they've got in like feet and mittens, don't get those. Don't get socks and mittens for newborns. It's a waste of time and a waste of money. You're not going to use them. Obviously you're going to need a couple of hats, and then I would get like muslin squares, and then wait until the baby is born. If you are on tight budget, just wait until they're born. You will get so much stuff in the newborn size. I would wait until you've been showered with gifts from family or friends. So something else that you may consider before your baby is born is somewhere to put your baby or a way to carry a baby that makes you hands-free. So what I would recommend doing is, like I said, wait until the baby is actually born to pick something like this. But if you did want to purchase it beforehand, obviously that's completely up to you. But you may find that your baby doesn't like to be in a baby wrap or doesn't like to be in a bouncer, you know. So please don't go spending like £50-60 on a baby wrap. There's no need. They're all the same. You can buy the ones that are like £200 and you can buy like a £20 one from Amazon and they all do the same thing. So don't feel like you have to buy like the top end of everything. So for example, if you wanted to get a bouncer, like I said, I highly recommend getting a bouncer and a swinging one, because then you've got both options if you do want to purchase it. Like I said, I wouldn't purchase this until they're born, but if you did want to purchase it before the baby gets here, buy one that does both. That way, if they don't like being like stationary in a bouncer, if they prefer the swing, or vice versa, you've got both options, you know. So this one is going to depend on how you plan to feed your baby. So if you are going to bottle feed, then you're going to need a way to sterilise your bottles. Obviously bottles, I recommend getting about 6 of the larger bottles if you can. Sometimes they do come in a set, but don't buy the smaller 5-ounce bottles because they're just pointless, because they only use them for the first couple of months and then you've got to get another couple of big ones anyway, so don't bother with those, they're just a waste of money. But sometimes the set will come with them, and sometimes it does work out cheaper to buy a set. But if you have the option, just get the big ones, and you only need about 6. You don't need loads and loads of them. They'll do your head in, they'll just be all over your house, because they only have like frequent lots of feeding in a 24-hour period in the first couple of months. After that, you know, it slows down when you bottle feeding, so don't feel like you need like 15 bottles. You don't. So obviously you're going to need bottles, like some form of sterilising your bottles. So I have an I have a microwave steriliser, but I only have it because it was given to me. If I personally was to choose my steriliser, I'd probably go with the cold water option, only because if you travel then, that is so much easier to take with you. And you can literally cold water sterilise anyway, you don't have to rely on an electric source. But I have a microwave one, it does the job. I wouldn't recommend the electric type that actually like plug into the wall, because they take up a lot of space and they're annoying to clean, to be really honest. So I would get something very simple, and you only need one form of sterilisation. Don't feel like you have to buy a lot of different things. I feel like with bottle feeding, if you choose to bottle feed your baby from the beginning, there's not that much information about it. I feel like people, because you get judged based on how you feed your baby, people aren't that forthcoming on talking about it, but I'm happy to talk about it all day long. So yeah, don't feel like you need to buy like 20 different ways to sterilise things. You don't, you're just going to waste your money. So what I would recommend doing as well, all baby bottles when you first buy them, they come with a newborn teat flow, which just means it's a slow flow teat for them when they're first born. But when they get to about 3 or 4 months old, they're going to be bored of that and they're going to want like a medium flow, and then you can get a fast flow as well. But what I would do is buy the varied flow. You can get these on Amazon, I will link them below. Really reasonable priced, and they're suitable from the same time the medium flow is, which is around 3 to 4 months depending on your baby. Now again, don't worry about things like this, you will know, I promise. You will know your baby and you will know when you're ready to move on to the next stage of something. So don't worry about that. But when you're ready to move on to the next one, I would get the Very Flow, because then you only have to buy another set of, you know, flowing teats, and you don't have to keep purchasing, and that's going to save you money. So I will link them down below. Everything I mentioned will be linked in the description. The thing I would recommend is the Rapid Cool Flask, because this is the easiest and most efficient way to formula feed your baby while you're out and about. I highly recommend them. They go on sale on Amazon all the time, so I will link that down in the description for you as well. I also have a separate video all about formula feeding your baby and how to do it on the go, how to, you know, make up bottles, all that information in another video, so I'll have that linked in the description for you as well. But if you choose to breastfeed, honestly I don't think you need as much kit. I was going to breastfeed this little one, and from the research that I did, I couldn't find anything specific that you would need other than like well supporting bras, obviously clothes that make it easy to breastfeed in so that are accessible for you. I wouldn't recommend buying things until the baby's actually, because then if it doesn't work out, you haven't wasted £500 on a breast pump. So yeah, but this little one, she only had like breastfeeding only worked for us for like the first week or so, and then she's exclusively formula fed, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You choose whatever you want to do. If you want to formula feed, breastfeed, combi feed, they don't care, guys. As long as they're fed, they're happy. So then obviously when you're out and about, you're going to need a way to transport your baby, so you will need a car seat, and then you will need like a pram or a travel system. Now when it comes to like the carry cot and using your car seat and clipping that onto the pram, everybody is going to have their own opinion about that. But I personally prefer to have my little one in a carry cot, because it means that they can lay flat, and it also means that if you go out for a pram walk and you come home, they can stay in it and they can sleep in it, and it's safe to do so. So I would highly recommend, before you purchase your pram, please don't feel like you have to buy like a really expensive pram. They're all the same, guys. But before you purchase your pram, I would recommend looking on the website, like I mentioned, to see if that pram is suitable from birth without like an extra thing. So it doesn't have to be, so basically the seat unit of the pram is suitable from birth, because if it is, I wouldn't buy anything else for it, because if they can go in it straight away, then I would do that. But obviously if you're thinking then of buying like a Moses basket or a next to me crib, then if the carry cot of your pram is suitable for overnight sleep, it just saves you money. So, but any travel system, and you can find ones that are really affordable, £200-300, or they go up into about £1,500. It just depends what you want to spend. But again, I would highly recommend Facebook Marketplace. Now obviously car seat, this is, you know, your own preferences. I mean, just bear in mind, don't feel bad if you have to buy a more budget end car seat, guys, because they all go through the same safety checks. I'm not saying all car seats are exactly the same, of course they're not, but they do all have to be safety checks and suitable for your baby to go in. So don't feel bad about having to budget on your car seat. But other than clothes, a way to travel, a car seat, somewhere safe for your baby to sleep, there isn't anything like you're going to desperately need before the baby arrives. You won't know exactly what you're going to need then until the baby is here, because you aren't going to know what type of mum or dad you're going to be until the baby comes. And again, they're all individual. Like, I may have had 3 children, but they're all their own babies, if that makes sense, and I've used different things for each. So what I will do, I think, is make a separate video about all the baby must-haves that I found have really helped me with my little ones, especially when I had my first, and then went on to my second, and now with my third. All the things that I found have really, really useful then. But yeah, they just need a safe place to sleep, your love and affection, clean clothes, snuggles, and obviously nappies and wipes. So as for nappies, if you're on a budget, get Aldi or Lidl nappies. All supermarkets do their own brand of nappies, and they're just as good as Pampers or Huggies. You know, just you choose whichever ones are offer. I would go for, to be really honest. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with cheaper nappies. She has Aldi nappies right now, and she's fine. And also, I would highly recommend the Aldi formula milk as well. It's just as good as any other that I've used, and it's a lot cheaper too. And I don't know if you guys actually know this, but for example, Aptamil and Cow & Gate milk, which are different prices, are actually made by the same company. So please don't feel like you have to spend and buy like the most expensive products out there to be the best parent or for your child to be happy. That is not the case at all. You know, raising babies has been around a lot longer than a lot of the products out there, and you know, there's no need to spend thousands and thousands of pounds before the baby's even here. Those things I would recommend waiting until your baby is born to purchase. You're going to know as you're going through the newborn stage, those first few weeks, of what you think, oh my god, I need this, I need that. I wouldn't even recommend, I mean, she has it done me, but I wouldn't recommend buying these things until the baby is actually here. Because I bought her, I mean, it's my third, and even I've made mistakes, you know, but I bought her these beautiful bibs dummies. I thought she was going to love them. She didn't like them, and I didn't like them, to be honest. I mean, they looked really nice, but I hated cleaning them, and she wasn't the biggest fan of them. But now I have the cheap ones from Boots. I think they were like £3 for a pack of 2, and she loves them. So that's what I'm saying, you're not going to know what they actually, you know, prefer until they're born. And with Amazon now, there's no need to rush out and buy everything you need in one go for your little ones. You can literally get next day delivery and it'll be here the very next day, sometimes the same evening. So please don't panic buy. But yeah, as long as you can keep your baby fed, changed and warm, and they've got somewhere safe to sleep, you're pretty much okay. I mean, even when it comes to things like a pram and a travel system, even though it's nice to have those things ready, for the first week or so you're going to be recovering, especially if it's your first baby and people are going to be visiting you, you're not going to be travelling much. And then again, if you've had a C-section, you can't even drive for, I think it's like 6 weeks. So don't feel like you have to have everything like this straight away, you know. But obviously, like the car seat, a cot, and you know, clothes, nappies and wipes, you're going to want to have those in stock, obviously, and things that are handy like muslin sprays and bibs. I'd recommend purchasing those more essential things, but anything else, I would just wait and see if you're actually going to use it as your baby, you know, gets a little bit bigger. So yeah, I mean, other than that, I can't really think of anything. Like, as for bathing your baby, for the first 6 weeks, they recommend using just plain water on them. And to be honest, so do I. I have to say, I'm not the biggest fan of like baby washes and stuff because it dries their skin out. And I've never really found them to be that good, to be honest. So all you need in the beginning is just water. You don't need like all these different lotions and potions. You really don't. So yeah, I mean, other than buying like a nappy cream of some kind, but again, you could literally wait until the baby is born to buy that. There's no need to have all of this like in your nursery. You're just going to end up wasting money. And as for actually, if you've got a dedicated nursery for your little one and they have their own room, I would buy furniture that isn't nursery furniture. I would get like a chest of drawers and a wardrobe or one or the other, and a full size cot. Because otherwise you're just going to keep replacing furniture and spending loads of money. Eventually they're going to be toddlers, you know, they're going to be children. They won't stay little, sadly. When it comes to bathing your little one, you don't really need a bath support. I mean, she does have the Angel Care bath support, but only because it was given to me. You can't just lay your baby in the bath and bathe them and just put like a little bit of water or bathe them in the sink. That's something, again, I wouldn't purchase until your baby is born. Because literally she only used that bath seat, I think it was about 2 months. It is helpful, but you don't need it, and I wouldn't purchase that until after your baby is here, because you may find that you don't want to use it. I mean, some people shower with their children, they take the baby into the bath with them. So I would just wait until your baby is born. If you are on a tight budget and you just want to know what you're actually going to need to survive the first few weeks, and you're not thinking of like toys and things like that, you're just thinking of when the baby is first born, then everything I've mentioned, that is all you need for the first 6 weeks of life, in my opinion. Isn't it? Isn't it? But yeah, don't feel like you need to spend loads and loads of money. They don't know any different, and it's just going to cost you a fortune. I would save your money and keep that for when they're teenagers, because I have teenagers and I can tell you now they're way more expensive. So I would save it for then. Hope this video was helpful. I know I didn't actually mention that many items, but to be honest, you kind of learn that you don't really need a lot, you know? I mean, your baby needs to be fed, cleaned, changed, bathed, and somewhere safe to sleep, and that's pretty much all they need. Like, as for sleeping, I wouldn't purchase blankets. I would get like the baby sleep sacks, which you will need, like sleeping bag then. Then when they're really, really little newborn, she had the swaddle wrap, is it? The one with Velcro, that's really good. But then when I had my 16-year-old, I used to just swaddle her with a blanket, where you like tuck it in and everything. But if you are nervous about that, and I completely understand, you can get like the swaddle wraps with like the Velcro on them, and they're really good. So everything I've mentioned, like I said, I will link down in the description. Toiletries for your little one, all you need is a little baby scissors. Don't buy baby nail clippers, they're horrendous. Buy the little baby scissors. That's how I do her nails, it's so much easier. And then like a little comb or a brush set, and that's fine. You can literally pick these up from like Poundland for like £2. Like, it doesn't matter if you buy the £2 one or the £20 one, they do the exact same thing. So I hope you guys have found this video useful. If you are about to have your first little one, congratulations. I hope everything goes really, really well for you. And if you're having your subsequent little ones, maybe on baby number 3 like I am, or maybe even more, do let me know what number little one you are on. I would love to know. But anyways, I think that is everything. I can't think of anything else that is something that you need now. We've mentioned nappies, wipes, somewhere safe to sleep, baby milk, obviously bottles, but obviously that's if you're formula feeding. If you're breastfeeding, you need, you know, supported bras, breast pads, car seat is obvious. You definitely need that, and that is something that you will need to purchase when you're still pregnant. Only because if you're going into hospital to have your baby, you have to have a car seat in order to leave with your little one. So I'd highly recommend probably purchasing that first out of pretty much anything else, to be honest, other than a cot, which obviously you will need a cot as well. And then I would recommend getting like 3 to 4 cot sheets and 2 mattress protectors. just so that you have them in backup, because obviously when you first have your little one, you don't want to be worrying about only having like 1 or 2 and constantly doing washing, because that's not something you're going to want to do. Then clothing wise, like I said, I would just buy 8 to 10 vests and baby rolls, bibs, a pram suit or jacket or cardi, depending on if you're having your baby in the summer or winter. Obviously I live in Wales, so it's pretty much always winter here. And then, you know, a pram or travel system. And then, I mean, baby wrap, it is nice to, like, you know, wear your baby, but I haven't worn her. We do have a structured baby carrier, which I'm not the biggest fan of, I've got to be honest, but again, it was given to me. And I think I've used it about twice. I mean, she didn't mind it, but that's something I would wait to purchase until your baby is born, because like I said, you just don't know if that's what you're going to be using. I hope you guys did find this video helpful, and what I'm going to do, I'll make another video of all the things that I have found really helpful and for an easier life, an easier mum life. So yeah, I will do a separate video going over all my baby must-haves and the things that I could personally, you know, that made my life easy and everything. But I thought for this video, I just wanted to like pinpoint all the things that you have to have before your baby's actually born, and then other things you can just purchase as you go, and as you get to know yourself as a mum or dad, and as you get to know your little one. So I really hope you did enjoy this video, guys. I hope it was helpful, and thank you so much if you have watched this far. So say bye bye. Hope you have a good day, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye.